Let's face it, life isn't easy. If you're stuck in a bad relationship, betrayed or afraid of tomorrow, financially insecure, or desperate for a breakthrough, you've come to the right place. Dr. Carmen Harra is a renowned psychologist, intuitive, relationship expert, and best-selling author, and she's here to give you the miracle guidance you need. Her new call-in show, Miracle Guidance for Everyday Life, offers profound wisdom, practical advice, daily exercises, and empowering predictions, all for you. Dr. Harra's show aims to eliminate everyday problems, big and small, with topics like healing your relationships, reclaiming your power, achieving better health, dealing with loss, and so much more. Regain the joy, stability, and fulfillment you deserve to feel. Tune in to Miracle Guidance for Everyday Life with host Dr. Carmen Harra, live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and find the answers you've been looking for.
Everybody, welcome to another episode of Miracle Guidance. I'm Carmen Harra. So excited to be with you every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on OMTimes Radio. Always trying to find new topics and new avenues to help you understand what's going on in your life and improve everything accordingly. So tonight's show is all about the 9 distinctive human archetypes that exist, and also the night show is trying to help you discover which one you portray. Now, did you know that your archetype is responsible for the situation you create and the relationship you find yourself in? So once you discover your archetype and get to know its strength, its weaknesses, tendencies, capacity to commit, to love, you can harness its power and steer your life in the best direction. So that's why I want you to stay tuned to the show tonight, because we all have, in a way or another, issues in our relationship. But before anything, I want to try to define what an archetype is all about. Now, the etymology of the word archetype comes from the Greek archeem, which means original, and typo, which means pattern. So an archetype is a pattern of thought presented in the human psyche. Archetypes are manifestation of the collective consciousness which we experience throughout life. We continue to draw on cosmic consciousness, thinking, feeling, and doing the same things that have existed since the dawn of time. So archetypes are within the roots of our nature. We cannot change them. We can only change how we relate to them. The front runner of the prototype of archetype was actually Plato, 2,500 years ago, with his theory of forms, his argument being that all forms, in other words, all things on earth, draw their origin from the perfect forms in the realms of ideas. So according to his theory, the patterns we perceive in our world are merely representation of a perfect pattern on some higher plane of existence. Now, Carl Jung was very inspired, actually, by this concept and by Plato's form, and applied the concept to human psychology, because Carl Jung believed that universal patterns reside within the depth of our consciousness and surface in the form of what? Beliefs, fear, wishes, and so on and so forth. So he identified a total of actually 12 human archetypes that continue to be, and ever since that, the central study in psychology to the world today. So it's very interesting that if you study psychology, this is one of the things you're going to study. Now, in my practice, I noticed that people come with sets of characteristics similar to how a person with red hair also has freckles, or a person with dark skin usually has dark eyes. So, for example, someone who is predisposed to introversion is also most likely to have issues with communication or issues with trust because he's an introvert. I also realized that we do inherit much of our personality, but it's not fully formed until we pass through existence that solidify who we are. Now, no one is born an independent, no one is born a narcissist, no one is addicted to his work or to idea of love, or nobody is emotionally reserved or emotionally wounded, but the likelihood for someone to become introverted will be by a situation that will be created to reinforce that. Like, for instance, okay, you've been bullied in school, or you haven't been experienced enough love at home, or you are not shown enough love at home, or you've been rejected by the person in your life. Now, what makes up the totality of a person is actually a delicate balance of nature and nurture. So I think that would be interesting for us to consider the balance that exists between the nature and the nurture aspect of life. So I believe a person's archetype is actually encoded in its genetics. And it's not sometimes physically clear or revealed. It continues to sort of develop through his early relationship with his family and awareness of his purpose on earth. Like, for instance, a mother's or a father's parenting style will impact, of course, a child's behavior, or will impact the child overall for his life long after he moves out of his house. But it is ultimately the situation he encounters on his own that will shape his character. So besides whatever family will influence you, there's you who actually shape up who you are through your own life experiences. Now, the theory of archetypes can be applied to any areas of life because your higher design influences the decision you make on a daily basis. So your personality descends from your overall archetype. All things emerge from your subconscious, which is why it's so important to recognize the archetype steering you forward. So what are my 9 archetypes? I'll reveal them now, then you go more in depth with, and we'll go then later on more in depth during the show so that you kind of understand them. Also, this is a calling show, so I'm going to go and take your calls in a minute after I try to define every single archetype. And I'm going to start by the independent, the introvert, the extrovert, the realist, the free spirit. Sometime at the realist chapter, I also include the narcissist, the hopeless romantic, the spiritual seeker, the workaholic, and the 9th one is the well-rounded one. And as you know, I always like to speak with you about my topics. So if you have any ideas about your own archetype, your significant other's archetype, how can you get along if one archetype that doesn't match another archetype? So bottom line is, call the show. It's such a pleasure to speak with you about your own experience when it comes to this topic. What do you know about yourself? Do you know your weaknesses? Do you know your strength? Do you know what are main characteristics of your significant other? Do you know if you not get along because of the archetype that you represent? So there's a lot to talk about, so feel free to call in 202-570-7057, and Christopher, my amazing producer, will connect you with me, so we'll be able to talk. But no matter the nature of your call, this is still a call-in show, so you're very welcome and invited to call in and ask me your specific question. I also want you to join me. I always invite you to join me on social media, because this is the way you always know what I'm doing. You always can be watching me live, or can ask questions while you are online, where I'm doing my free seminars or free online courses. Anytime I have a chance to, and almost every other day I'm going live, so feel free to connect with me through Facebook, Carmen Harra on Facebook. I have 2 different accounts, one that has 140,000, another one that has 50,000 followers. So The one that's 50,000 is more for European people, but the 140,000 account is for everybody, so I advise you to join that one. Also on Instagram, you can find me at Dr. Carmen Harra. And feel free to go to my site, carmenharra.com, and subscribe to my newsletter, because you receive all the time all kinds of tips and all kinds of, advice and information through the newsletter. So go to carmenharra.com, and you see there is a button in which you can just put your email address, and you will always receive emails from my assistant. Now, it's a great pleasure to have you as my friend on the social media, and always letting you know what I'm doing and where I am and what's important for you to know, and also responding to your questions. Feel free to always email me or even call me, but emails are great. Carmen Harra at AOL. I still have AOL after 30 years. I can't believe I still have AOL. But anyhow, let you know that my book, Committed: Finding Love and Loyalty Through the 7 Archetypes, is actually the one that I'm taking the resources from. So in reality, this show is more emphasizing my book, and talks about commitment being an issue for a lot of people, and also having a lot to do with love relationship, and having a lot to do with all the problems that exist between people. Why is commitment so hard to achieve? You will find out. And also, if you read my book, if you struggle in love, if you're ready to say, I don't want to struggle, I want to end up cycle of disappointment, I want to foster a fulfilling relationship, then my book, Committed, is actually the book for you. Committed, my last book, is helping you re-examine your beliefs about commitment. It's helping you clear those karmic patterns passed on to you, and also heal your emotional trauma. Very significant to heal your trauma if you really want to be in a good relationship. It's helping you understand how to liberate yourself from the people you don't need, how to identify your archetype, your partner's archetype, your strength, your weaknesses, mindset, inclination, and determine your love, your own love archetype. So significant. What I think the book does good, not because it's my book, but I think the book helps you build something that is called emotional intimacy. Very significant. It's the glue that keeps two people together. I've seen people so excited to get married, and then after a year or two, 5 years, the excitement is gone. They feel like they are two strangers. The reason they don't connect is because they've never tried to work on something that goes beyond the physical chemistry into the emotional connection. So emotional intimacy is way more powerful than physical intimacy in time, because it's the connection at the soul level. Like it's two people growing together and molding, one into another, and creating the oneness, the totality, the holiness, the sense of the unity that two people need to grow and develop in order for their relationship to survive the test of time. So as I said, the goal of this book is help and find people, keep the love they deserve, find an authentic, compassionate relationship that is filled with excitement, and that puts your mind at ease every night. Now, every book, Committed: Finding Love and Loyalty, you can find it everywhere. Amazon, of course, Barnes & Noble, everywhere books are sold. But before I go to talk in great length, I want to touch upon the archetype and describe you how they are, because significant, and I kind of want you to tell me much more about what you think about the book, and what you think about your own archetype. I want to hear if you were able to identify your own archetype. I would love to go to, I have a number of callers. I'm going to go to Lelani, then to Langdon, I think, from, Indiana, if I'm right, and then I'm going to go to Kim in Florida. So you guys hold on the line. And I'm going to go actually straight to Lelani, because I haven't heard from her in a long time. Hi, my beautiful Lelani.
Hi, Carmen. How are you? I love you.
I love you more. So where are you, my lovely Lelani? Which part of the world? Where are you?
I'm in Sedona, Arizona. Sedona.
Sedona is beautiful. So tell me, how is there?
You know, it's good. I'm camping. There's not a lot of housing options. It's very popular because of social media.
Right.
So I think I will stay here for a little while, and then my plan is to head back to California. And
Okay.
it's always the issue of affording to live in Santa Monica, which is in the States, it's where I like the best.
Right. So you've been touring all over the country, so now you have an idea where is better for you. So out of all these places, you still think that California is the one for you?
Yes. I mean, that's where my spiritual community is. I love the weather.
I agree.
I love the farmers markets. There's a lot of vegetarian cafes. I'm vegetarian mostly. And
that's true. Yeah.
And, Carmen, one day I do want to move to Spain, but given the fact that my mom is still alive,
right,
and everything going on in the world, I don't feel comfortable.
Now, let me ask you, why
Europe.
would you move to Spain? So just give me a reason.
I love Spain. I've had several past lives there. I feel at home.
Okay.
I love the culture. You don't need a car. I love the beauty. I love the food. I feel at home there more than in the USA, actually.
When was the last time you were there?
2016.
2016, okay. Where in Spain exactly? Where?
Barcelona.
In Barcelona, okay, yeah. I heard it's beautiful there. I haven't been to Barcelona.
It's gorgeous. Maybe you come visit me. You come visit me.
Absolutely.
So I've done some healing work with my mother and sister, and that feels good for the karma in my lineage. But let's talk on your topic. I feel like I'm an independent. I wanted to see what you think. I think I'm but I'm also really kind and caring, and if I have a boyfriend, I show up for him. But I am very independent. I mean, look at me.
Well, the independent archetype in your case explains why you are alone, why you go everywhere trying to find a place, find yourself. And independent people are very detached by nature. And they control their feelings, and they have a lot of weaknesses that they try to hide. I don't know if you agree with me. I mean, weaknesses having to do with feeling emotional, giving, loving, caring, but you don't want to show it as much. So independent is somebody who's the person who try to master their emotions. And he's very... Independent is usually very reluctant to really share a life with a partner. The usually independent are people who want to be on their own, though they pretend. So listen to this. So an independent will pretend, yes, I would love to be with somebody, but yet somewhere subconsciously they are kind of sabotaging things, because there's a need within you, there's this quest within you to define yourself, to find yourself. And this is when you trying to be independent, you will do everything. Look at you, the life you live. And an independent does not look to what other people are doing. An independent will forge his own path forward. And I feel like that's very much you. You don't want to depend. You don't want to take on somebody else's journey. You want your own journey. Yes. You think apart from others. You appreciate your own, unique gift, And you're constantly on this quest to find your own identity. I see this in you very much. Now, Nobody's born a certain archetype. You become. There are predisposition to be a certain archetype, but through life you become a specific archetype, and nobody's 100% one archetype. There might be other traits of other archetypes within you, but there's always a dominant archetype and a recessive archetype. I think your dominant archetype, I cannot agree with you more, will be the independent.
I'm very emotional, though. I did open up with that last boyfriend a lot emotionally. So.
Right.
Anyway.
I do agree. I agree that you are emotional. I do agree. And that you just need to think a little bit which one is prevalent, which is the number one characteristics of you. Is it the emotional, or is it the struggle of a lifetime to find yourself, and build your own career and build your own identity?
I feel better than I have.
It is?
Well, I feel like I really know who I am finally, Carmen. I just am not a cookie cutter fit in the world.
Right.
I don't want to necessarily play the game. Work hard to pay bills, to pay a mortgage.
Right, exactly.
I'm actually loving this lifestyle, so I wonder also if I have some free spirit in me that loves to freedom and adventure and traveling. I mean, I'm meeting the most amazing people.
Yeah, I agree,
and
but I think it should be.
I saw a couple today, though, traveling in a van like I'm doing, but I'm not in a van, and I thought, wow, I'd really love to be doing this with a man. And they have a really nice van.
That has nothing to do with your archetype. Your desire, to be with somebody has nothing to do with the archetype. And I totally believe that you should be in a relationship and you should be happy with someone.
Yeah. What do you think about this guy from Brazil? His name's Bruno.
I feel very good about Bruno. I don't know how you perceive him, but I intuitively feel good about him. Do you agree?
Yeah, I feel like he's a gentleman. He's very nice, but he hasn't yet come out to the West, and I don't know when he's coming out here. So,
what is he? Is he implying something?
He's in Florida, in St. Augustine, and he's working to save money to come out to the West. He wants to visit Big Bend National Park, Sedona, California. He wants to visit some of these places in the West. So we're talking on WhatsApp, but I'm not sure if he's interested, though, romantically. I can't really read him.
I think he is interested.
You do?
Believe absolutely believe he's interested. I also feel he may be a little bit shy.
Really?
Yeah, some people are, and you cannot necessarily see that side of them.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like, is he alone?
He's traveling alone in the U.S., yes.
Right, yeah. I feel that this has a lot to do with his past, with something about being lonely. That we can talk about this for quite a while, because there's something here that needs to be changed and needs to be healed.
With him?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, try to get to know him better.
Okay. I asked him if we could talk on the phone instead of just texting.
What did he say?
He said, of course. It's just now I'm 3 hours ahead, and he's working, and so. But I really like his style. He's a plant lover. He loves cactus and succulents.
So what archetype is he?
I don't know, Carmen. I only know him. We just had dinner at this Airbnb.
It doesn't matter. You create an opinion all the way from the beginning. So do you feel in your heart it can be his archetype? You have no idea?
I'm thinking. I don't know. I mean, I was only with him a couple hours. Having dinner with another person and his friend.
Right. Well, try to dig deeper because you want to know much more about him. You know, you want to sort of, you know, work on this to get more answers.
Okay.
I think that you should sort of investigate more about him. Try to find much more about what kind of an archetype he is, and if he is a match. Now you have my book, so look at the sort of compatibility chart in which it says, well, if he's that, he will match this, and so try to do those parallel and try to see that this is the guy for you or no.
Okay.
Don't lose your time. Just, you know.
I love your book.
Do your work. Okay, my love. Thank you for calling me, my sweetheart. I love you more. And I'm going to take a short break, and then I'm going to Langdon. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. So hold on the line. I'll be with you in a moment. So you guys, I'll take the break. Don't go anywhere.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organisation, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me The Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
Coping-19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
If you're feeling increasingly lonely right now, you're not alone. It's totally normal. Even though we may not be able to get together in person, connecting virtually with friends and family still gives you a chance to interact with people and may help raise your spirits. Join a virtual book club, set up group text chats, or online video coffee breaks with coworkers.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
And I'm back talking about archetypes, human archetypes, and different human archetypes. It's very significant to know which one you are. And I wonder whether you have ever tried to identify your strengths, your weaknesses, or try to find compatibility by, finding out your significant other's archetype and if this is or isn't a match. So I'm going to go to Langdon in Indiana. How are you, my dear?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
So good to talk to you, my dear. Thank you so much for calling the show. How can I help you? Do you resonate with this topic?
Yes, I do. This is my first time calling in. I honestly, I'm not sure about the archetypes, but
tell me your question. Whatever the question might be, I'm here to try to help.
Okay. So I have a project that I'm working on with a friend, and I'm wondering how to make it as successful as it possibly can be with our archetypes. If I don't know how we can learn our archetypes though. We don't have the book or anything.
So you are trying to identify that person's archetype?
No, maybe ours, both of ours, and then how to make our project successful, good tips on,
so the way you find out is, do you have my book?
No, we don't. That's okay. The only problem.
So my book is it's very hard to get, easy to get on Kindle, for instance, it's $2-3. the price of a coffee. And the book defines every single archetype. It tells you what it is to be a hopeless romantic, what it if you're a spiritual seeker, what it if you're an independent, an introvert, or workaholic. So it defines your characteristics. It shows you the problem that you have. It shows the way you express yourself. It shows your strength, your capacity. So the book defines every characteristic of who you are. On the other token, it does give you the possibility to identify your significant other's archetype. And it's just, that book is in a way like a predictability chart, you know, when you compare, this is who I am. And the book also tells you, if you're an independent, this is who you're going to match. If you're a workaholic, this is who you're going to match. So you always have to be able, the book helps you to find that compatibility. And it's a very easy way to determine. So I highly advise, if you can, get the book. Do you
I'm sorry, what'd you say? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I advise you to get the book. And if you cannot get the book, send me a link or an email at Carmen Harra, and I'll send you a link to a ebook, a free copy of the book, so that you can read. Because it's all about, I can talk like this for hours, but if you get this book, you know what I mean, and look through the characteristics, you immediately gonna find yourself. And on the other hand, you immediately gonna find who's your match. And it's very simple. So if you go to any of those online dating, what they actually try to do, they try to match people based on personality traits. And personality traits are actually archetypes. So all the questions in online dating that have to say, what do you like, how do you introduce yourself, all are those psychological questions that are meant to help you define who you are and who do you want to bring in. So my advice to you is, reading more in depth about this, going through my book would be a very helpful tool to find out, you know, which is the way you can express yourself. Who is actually the person who's good for you? Because a lot of people just go and get involved in relationship and they are not getting too far and they get hurt and disappointed. Have you ever had a relationship that was not exactly what you wanted? Did that happen to you? Hello? Can you hear me? She dropped. Oh, I think I lost you, my dear. But anyhow, so coming back to archetypes, as I said, we spoke a little bit about the independent. I'm going to go a little bit to the introvert. A lot of us are introverted people who struggle in their fear of intimacy, people who are hesitant to release what they feel, people who have problems of communication. How many couples, they have problems to communicate? Somebody who doesn't know exactly how to put things on the table, how to express themselves. And now there is a discrepancy between what's shown on the outside and what's kept inside. So to be, for instance, in a committed relationship, the introvert needs to feel comfortable enough to open up to his partner. An introvert will have a very hard time to open up, and they have a hard time opening because they're afraid of intimacy. So this is where, okay, here I am, I'm getting in a relationship with somebody, and I feel that fear, I feel that, how should I say, tendency to take a step back. Because the introvert is more like a philosopher. His mind is removed from the notion of commitment. He's afraid, on the other hand, to lose his partner, but definitely he has a hard time connecting with somebody. So this is where you identify immediately an introvert. Also, an archetype that is very interesting is the hopeless romantic. because the hopeless romantic is an idealist. The people that are just in love with love, that believes in love, and they are dreamers. Hopeless romantic are dreamers. They're not doers. They're dreamers. They want to commit, and they fail. They fall in love easily, and they fail many times because they throw themselves blindly, with an unsuitable relationship. The truth is, he may be more in love with the idea love than with the person in front of him. So this is the way you identify a hopeless romantic. And there are a lot of hopeless romantics out there, and they usually, many times they feel hurt, many times they feel disappointed, and because they're not really realistic, about the consequences of throwing himself in the wrong type of a relationship. Then there's another archetype that is called the spiritual seeker. People who are all about wisdom, it's all about learning, it's all about trying different avenues in life. But they don't want to go so much in the physical world. They stay in the world of wisdom, in the etheric world. Like these are people who they like guided by spiritual principles. And there are a lot of people interested in spirituality. And a spiritual seeker could ask only two questions: why and what? Why are we here? What happens when we die? And all kinds of things like this. A spiritual seeker explores the unconventional, the philosophical, the metaphysical. And I think I'm a spiritual seeker. The archetype seeks to hold the secret of the universe in the palm of his hand. So, and I don't think there's anything greater than the power of knowledge. So a spiritual seeker wants to go to school, wants to learn more, wants to find more, wants new explanation. He lives with one foot on this world with the other foot on the other side. He's always interested in paranormal of life, in things that cannot be explained scientifically. So this kind of an archetype wants to evolve and wants to elevate others, wants to live with his human experience in a very profound and purposeful way. For a spiritual seeker, heaven and earth are not separated, are together. He believes we were meant to align with the divine. So this is when you distinguish, I got involved with somebody like this. And you have to ask yourself, is this my match? Can I be with somebody like this? Another archetype is the workaholic. A workaholic, you see people out there that their whole life is around their work. All they care is about their work. Actually, they choose their career long before they choose to be in a relationship. They still want to be the best of both, but they want the best of both worlds. So a workaholic wants to have the best career, but a most beautiful partner. And they don't want to compromise. The most interesting thing is that an workaholic will sacrifice his significant other for the sake of his career. A workaholic would let go of his partner if the partner doesn't contribute to his growth. So this is kind of a sad aspect, but it's a reality. So by paying attention to these details, you immediately will know, I'm involved with a workaholic who is putting his work first, and then I'm there, but I'm secondary. So as I said, there are many wonderful archetypes out there. You just have to figure it out who you are, and you have to find out how to not only find out who you are, but how to find the right partner for yourself who's actually a match. I'm going to go and take a short break, and then I'll be back with Kim.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers, and researchers pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
If I could be you,
and you could be me,
for just 1 hour.
If you could find a way
to get inside
each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
And I'm back talking about Committed, Finding Love and Loyalty to the 7 Archetype, my book that came out some months ago. And I was trying to describe to you different archetypes. And I want to go to one that is called the Free Spirit, and then I'll take Kim's call. The Free Spirit is somebody who has trouble sticking to commitment in multiple aspects of his life. This is somebody who claims he wants to have a relationship, but he abandons that relationship. It's like you abandon a ship when things get serious. The kind of sort of irrational behavior can leave his partner confused, and it's just hard to deal with somebody like this. But Free Spirit is extremely charismatic, extremely charming, and again, he pretends he wants commitment. So how can you distinguish, from a Free Spirit to somebody who's a workaholic? So you have to do your inner work. Another archetype is the Extrovert, which always externalize his creativity to be happy. This is the kind of archetype that is guilty to embellish the truth with his imagination. Sometimes this archetype is perfect for making connections, for communications with other people. So the extrovert is an external archetype, because much of the extrovert's energy is concentrated on how he can express himself to the outside world. And he cares a lot about how he looks and how he comes across. He needs to make himself appear attractive. So an extrovert will always take extra time to get ready, even to go to the supermarket. He's constantly seeking new ways of expression and new ways to be creative in many ways, almost like magical ways. He makes, although an extrovert is a great artist, a musician, a dancer, a performer. So when you see all the people in the performing industry, a lot of them come across like that, and they belong to this archetype. Because an extrovert mind is very sharp and very bright, and he's always ready to give, and if he's not doing it, he becomes extremely frustrated. And I'm going to touch upon another one, and then I'm going to go to take Kim's call because she's waiting for quite a while. The realist lives it's another archetype who lives in the real world. Sometimes there's a connection between the person who's so realistic and the narcissist. People who recognize that are bound to the laws of physics, thus, at the same time, he takes this work to his advantage. He's very, very pragmatic, very self-reliant. And in his head, he's always, he's organized, and he's always tries to keep himself busy. He does things on his own term, and this is somebody who cares a lot about him. And he has an unwillingness not to change. So this type of archetype is somebody who's stubborn, who's closed-minded, extremely talented to make a lot of things happen, but it's his way or the highway. So the greatest skills is, in fact, used to his own advantage. He can be in situations that are difficult, but he knows how to turn them in his favor, and he knows how to succeed. Think of Oprah Winfrey, who was born in poverty in Mississippi and molested during childhood, and despite of this is somebody who transformed a life of setbacks and hardship into huge fame and success. So this is the power of the realist, to shift, everything, all the challenges into his advantage. So as you can see, I'm going through different archetypes. I want you to identify what kind of a archetype you are. And you may be the well-rounded one, which points towards somebody who is a truly stable partner, somebody that goes beyond ego, goes beyond greed, somebody who wants to leave a legacy, somebody who's less problematic and wants things to be whole, healed, functional. This is as normal as it gets. The well-rounded one is a type of archetype of an individual who wants a harmonious life. He's mentally and emotionally prepared for challenges, and his number one attribute is his adaptability under different circumstances. So he's such a decent person in all the sense of the word. He has such a sense of morality. One problem is that the well-rounded archetype has a strange way of attractive family drama, and he's too evolved sometimes to want to take part of that drama. So he wants to, if he gets caught into this, he wants to get out of the conflict. This is somebody who doesn't like conflict. So he is very careful not to allow conflict and not to hurt anyone else, including his own self, through the process. So I'm going to go and take Kim's call if she still has had enough patience to wait for me. Hi, Kim. How are you, my love?
Good. How are you, Carmen?
Oh, way working here like usual. How are you, my love? How can I help you?
You can always help me. So I was just curious. I know this guy, and for a long time, supposedly they are separated, and I kind of saw that for a long time. And what is his intentions for me? Do you know? His name is Greg.
Well, what is your first instinct about this guy when you met him? Did you like him? Did you feel a chemistry, an attraction, anything?
Yes, but this goes back 20 years when I first moved here from New York. And
also, so this guy is not somebody you just met.
No. I've known him, but now he's separated and he's moving on in life, and so is she. And he has to go on today. And I'm like, I don't want to be like, he's separated. I don't want to be like that home wrecker, but he's like, it's over, it's been over. And I truly believe him. There is an attraction there. And
have you had a chance to see him, to talk to him, or anything?
Yes, I saw him Saturday. I went on his boat.
Okay.
But do you know what his intentions are? Like, I just feel like
feel like his intentions are very good towards you.
He's been very quiet with reaching out to me since Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been, really putting himself out there. Is it because he's just not ready for a relationship? Is he ready for a relationship? I mean, he just got out of, a broken marriage.
I don't know anything about this man. I'm trying to connect with him. I feel this is somebody who you had some kind of a karmic tie from the past. So I feel like you've been connected to him, and you just have to figure it out a way to reconnect with him again. Does this make sense?
Do you feel like he's going to reach out?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, did you see him, or you just spoke on the phone?
No. I saw him Friday night at a bar. And
you saw him Friday night. Sorry.
Come see me. Come on my boat with me and my friends. So I went on the boat on Saturday. We had a great day. He's a gentleman. And we hung out Saturday night after the boat. And he reached out Sunday and said, I had a great time. Let's do it again. But I haven't heard from him since. So I don't really know his intentions.
I think he doesn't know yet himself his clear intention. I think he has a connection with you. I feel it's something that might be also karmic, like between you there is a bond. There's something there that you feel it. Do you feel it?
Totally feel it. And I know he feels it too. He's just very quiet.
Yes, but some people don't know how to process. When if you have some intense emotions, some people run away. Do you think, what kind of an archetype he is? Are you aware of how he is expressing himself? Are you aware if this is an independent, if this is a workaholic? How is he? Who is he?
I mean, I haven't seen him in a very long time, but I mean, he's a workaholic. He does, he's got a nice house.
So that's it. But is he free right now? He's not with anybody, no?
No, he said he's not with anyone. His wife left the house 2 months ago, and they're doing their own thing, and they're getting divorced. They're separated. And,
That's right. That's absolutely correct. It does feel to me like this is somebody who's not with anybody right now. And, And also I feel like he needs to heal. He needs to, because there's been a lot of damage, so he needs to break through whatever happened here. If you see him not willing to reach out to you consistently, is because he handles this. Is processing this pain of a separation and everything that happened to him and this person in his life.
Does he want? Do you know if he wants this separation, or is it her?
I think it's both. I think they kind of, this is over. The relationship is over.
So do you see us moving forward at all, or should I kind of just move on? I like him a lot.
No. Try to give this man a chance, but he needs help. In other words, you do your diligent work to bring him in, because he's still in pain. He's still confused. It's exactly like somebody, he wants a new start, but he needs to be done with his past. He needs to close the door. And I feel like the problem with him is the door is still open.
Right. So should I keep my distance and let him pursue me is basically, I guess, what I want to know. I don't want to overstep.
No, I will not close the door. I will communicate with him in a very nice way. It doesn't necessarily have to, you don't have to sound like you're putting pressure or you ask for much, but it's okay to send him a message from time to time just to find out how he is, because it's very helpful. You need to help the man.
All right.
Open up to you.
I'm not pushing him. I'm not being pushy by reaching out, right?
You're not pushing by reaching out. No, not at all.
Okay. All right. So you see some good intentions with him, with me. He just doesn't.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely good intention with him and you. Definitely this can work. And so please continue to work with him, to help him. Because I feel like this, I always had a feeling that this is going to work for you. I don't know if you remember. I always said somebody else might come.
Yeah, you did. You did. I just didn't know. I didn't expect it to be him whatsoever. But do you see anyone else coming in my life, in my love life?
I feel like in your love life, there's probably a chance of meeting somebody else, but not before having a better understanding of who this guy is all about and why he resurfaced into your life.
Right.
So I kind of
So
want
weird.
you to work on that, you know?
Yeah, I just, my girlfriend's like, let him pursue you. He just got out of a marriage, you know, give him space, give him his time. So I haven't reached out either, but like, it's been like, you know, 3 days and I haven't heard from him. So I just wanted to know your opinion.
Well, if you don't hear from somebody, do 3 days. That's not the end of the world, and it doesn't mean he's not interested in you.
Yeah.
You
so
understand?
Do you see out though? Do you see him like saying, "Hey, how are you?" Do you hang out?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, let me know, Kim. I'm at the end of the show, so I need to let you go. I love you, Kim. So we'll speak next week. I'm Carmen Harra on OMTime Radio. Thank you so much for calling me, and I'll be with you next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on OMTime Radio. And meanwhile, feel free to be blessed and feel free to take care of yourself, because that's what we all need to do. Much love and gratitude.